Welcome back to The Different Knock. Arsenal got their season back on track last weekend with a thumping 5-0 win over Crystal Palace. Set piece and field tilt FC returned with two Gabriel Magalhaes goals, a Trossard dagger and a late Martinelli brace, all of which put smiles back on faces in the Emirates Stadium and beyond. It was great to get back to winning ways, and that is the most important thing. However, I don't know about you, but the win didn't totally satisfy me or my concerns about the team, despite the scoreline. Some people simply don't want to hear any critique after a big win, and if that's you, absolutely fine, this video isn't for you. To be clear, as I say, the most important thing is that we won, of course. That matters more than anything I'm about to say. But results-based analysis works both ways. You're never as bad as the bad scoreline or run of form suggests, which was my feeling all through our recent blip, but equally you're normally not as good as the good scoreline suggests. And I have some thoughts on how we could be better. So if you're interested and you want to stomach it, here are those thoughts, despite some brilliant positives last weekend. We'll come to Emile Smith-Rowe a little bit later. First, I want to set my stall and explain how, by looking at our current challenges, I've come to the conclusion that Smith-Rowe may be a really solid answer to them. Arsenal scored 5 goals, but the fact is, 2 were from a corner and 3 were on a quick transition. We still, in my view, have a problem from open play, specifically breaking down blocks in settled play, where Arsenal spend a lot of their time and where we will continue to spend time. In fact, Arsenal have only scored once from what I'd term as settled play in the league since the 9th of December, a month and a half ago. And I'm saying that's the Saka goal against Fulham, though I accept it's open to slight interpretation. You could even argue that was off the transition really, as Martinelli had broken down the left, but Fulham had settled for a few moments, so I count it. Look, every goal counts. It doesn't matter how it goes in. If we win the league on set pieces and field tilt alone, you will not catch me complaining. But the longer we struggle to make big chances from open play consistently and score from them, the longer we remove a huge potential to win games. So in my view, we have to look at why this is happening. We are 10th in the league for open play goals and we're 7th in the league for open play XG. Both graphs from Opta Analyst. Whatever way you slice it, whatever you think, I don't think it's arguable that open play is at least an area we can look at. So why are we struggling there? There's all the stuff that many great analysts in the space have already said. Arsenal are facing much more stubborn defenses. We've got a slightly more conservative approach and so on and so on. I don't want to go over old ground, but I want to present 3 new factors, for me anyway, that I think might be holding us back and might mean that Smith-Rowe is the answer. They are, number 1, our distances. Number 2, problems in our attacking lanes. Number 3, the makeup of our attack. First, our distances. I don't want to over-index last season, as I think we're in danger of turning it into the sort of holy grail of football when it wasn't, in my view. However, when we were at our very best, as you're seeing in this selection of pass maps and average position maps here from some of our best games, performance-wise, in my opinion, the feature I'd like to focus on is that distance between our first and last line. It was usually very compressed when we were at our best. Our centre-backs would step up and squeeze teams very high, and the front-to-back distance shrunk. This had loads of benefits, defensively and offensively, but the one I want to focus on here is that it connected us through the middle and got our good players closer together centrally, in dangerous areas. It meant the distances between the centre-backs, the 6 and the 8s were compressed, and therefore there was naturally more opportunity to knock it around centrally, create gaps and angles, and progress through the field in a dynamic fashion, meaning we were subsequently approaching the final third in a more threatening and unstructured way. At the moment, I think we're too far apart, front to back, when we're in possession. So many times against Crystal Palace, I felt there was this huge chasm between Saliba and Gabriel and our attackers. Look at the pass and average positions map from that game and notice the difference from the ones earlier. Saliba and Jesus are half a football pitch away from one another, rather than maybe a quarter or a third. But it wasn't just a problem against Palace. In recent games, we had the same problem against Liverpool. We're miles apart from front to back. A little bit better against Fulham the game before, but same problem against West Ham and so on. When you increase those distances, you decrease the likelihood of that short, sharp, incisive central passing that can open up opportunities for you against settled defenses. Look how far these progressive pass attempts against Palace have to travel now. Now, I will say, I don't think this is an accident. Less of a desire this season to press in a man-for-man structure than last season means when we regain the ball, we're more spread out. I think there's a slightly more conservative attitude to attacking and defending this season, which may be to avoid burnout, and it's definitely instruction, as you don't see Arteta doing this as much this season. So my guess is it's to pull the other team more out their block and create some space centrally, which is fine. But on balance, I don't think it helps us. Our players in the build-up now don't want to play those riskier passes because they're further away. Our players can't connect with each other as easily, and then we suffer. So that's one element in my view. Here's another. I'm originally from Bournemouth, and every summer we have the Bournemouth Air Show. One of the best parts as a kid was watching the red arrows and watching how they dovetailed around each other to create these amazing formations. You had no idea where they'd move, where they were going next, and that was the exciting bit. At the moment, we're more like the and then I wrote, write something funny here. So just imagine something funny. Cheers. The red tape. Though I felt a bit more movement against Palace, actually from Ødegaard coming to the left, generally, when we attack, I think our front five stay in their own lanes far too often. Try and find me more than, say, 3 or 5 moments in a game where, in an attacking sense, we're all over the place. Saka's running centrally and Jesus finds himself on the right, or where Zinchenko's found an overlap and Saka pops up on the left with Martinelli centrally. It's unpredictability, yes, but it's more about the moments before you get there. These types of movements here confuse teams and create spaces between defenders. One red arrow crossing another's path, where you're sure they're going to crash but don't, pulls everyone's attention on Bournemouth Beach. And in football terms, that diversion means a lane opens for Jesus as you pull a block of defenders around. It's not about just a period of the game where you just go and stand in someone else's position. It's not really the point I'm making. It's about the movement that takes you there. That moment where you put a bit of doubt in the centre-back or the full-back's mind saying, should I go, should I stay? That's what can help to open up space. Again, it's another factor in my view. And finally, I come to the balance of our attack. I'm going to put our front 5 most common forward players on a spectrum. And before I show you this, please don't be jealous because you're about to have your mind blown by the artistic prowess. There you go. Wow. The question I'm asking is how our players are effective, when they are, in the final third and what their unique skill set brings. On one axis, it's finisher to facilitator, aka whether the player generally likes and is good at connecting play or being on the end of things. Of course, they'll be able to do both, but what is their best quality and where do they sit on this line? The other is what they're best at in terms of making things happen in the final third. Are they better at making things happen with their movement or through their ball usage? Do they prefer runs to open up space or do they want ball to feet, high touches? Again, they can obviously do both, but what's their best quality? Maybe you agree with where I've placed our most common front 5, maybe you don't. But one thing for me is for sure, our most common attack is unbalanced. We have a decent mix of movement to ball usage, but there's too much facilitation right now in our attack and not enough players whose best quality is finishing off moves. I felt that against Liverpool. Too many players hogging the central spaces where Martinelli could have been, and players centrally whose first idea is to connect first. Ødegaard and Havertz specifically. That's not a problem if there's also an equal balance of finishes, but there isn't. So how do we fix that? Title. Smith Rowe is not the perfect player. I actually, if I'm honest, don't think he'll be here beyond the summer because I think a striker solves a lot of these problems. However, right now, I think he could be a really good option for us to fix some of the problems we have. He's here on our spectrum, in my view, and that's enough for me. I think right now, there's certain games where despite what Havertz brings, especially off the ball, Smith Rowe edges it for me and rebalances us. What is Smith Rowe's best quality? The thing that sets him apart from everyone else? His ball carrying. Jamie Carragher, over 2 years ago now, said he's one of the best ball carriers in the league at 21 years old. And that could be part of solving problem 1, which we laid out earlier. If Arteta wants to continue with these massive distances we have at the moment, then we need someone who's willing to take the ball early, turn, and drive with it. Smith Rowe is about the only player in our squad who has the on-ball personality to do that and the ability to receive on the half turn in a block further up. Ødegaard wants to pass it. Havertz wants it in and out of his feet as soon as possible. Rice wants to be behind the ball, not receiving in the block. And none of that is wrong, but the midfield balance then becomes off in those conditions. Smith Rowe driving centrally through that massive gap we've created, and maybe want, I think could cause teams a lot of problems. And I'd actually like to see him at right 8, with Ødegaard swapped over to the left for 3 reasons. 1, I think it would suit Ødegaard with those slip balls to Martinelli, combining a higher touch facilitator with a lower touch mover, and vice versa on the other side. And with Ødegaard in a freer role this season anyway, I think he'd adapt well. 2, the cooperative superiority and relationship Saka and Smith Rowe already have could work wonders for us on that right-hand side. Again, combining high touch and low touch players, especially with White at the minute making less of those facilitative runs, although he is showing signs of improvement. Smith Rowe can definitely go outside on the overlap to offer Saka more room. Go back to that West Brom goal and you'll see what I mean. And 3, Arsenal have a right-sided bias in build-up. Raya generally goes to the right, Saliba is right-footed, Rice prefers passing left to right in my view. If Smith Rowe can pick up the ball in the pockets here and drive, I think we could cause teams a lot of problems. Similarly, in more settled play further up, someone who can receive high up and turn, who's more willing to drive through pockets, could create havoc with blocks too. I think with a more carry-first profile, the red arrows theme becomes a little bit easier to realise. We'll have more moments where one of our 8s has taken the ball and turned to face play without slowing it down, and therefore more opportunities to switch lanes as that action continues throughout the game. We have less connect-first players in the final third, addressing that balance as I see Smith Rowe as more of a finisher than a facilitator, and with these massive distances we've created, maybe for the right reasons, we have someone who may be able to knit us together. Can I see Havertz, Vieira, Trossard fixing those problems in the same way? No, hence the title. What do you think? Is Smith Rowe the answer? Let me know in the comments. Sometimes, football can be incredibly simple. Put players in a system where their very best qualities, the things that got them to this level, can shine. It's what Ancelotti does incredibly well. Teams go through phases. I don't think we need Smith Rowe forever, but I do think we need Smith Rowe right now. If you like The Different Knock, you can support us on Patreon monthly, or you can buy us a coffee.